And so this video begins in St. Louis, Missouri. There's the arch right down there. And also you can make out a bit of the Capitol building below it. 1997, New York City is a walled maximum security prison. Breaking out is impossible. Breaking in is insane. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if it's your first time. I hope you enjoy the filming locations to Escape from New York. Not filmed in New York. I know, you're shocked, just like I was. St. Louis, right here. Oh, and by the way, this is Larry Kirshner, owner of the haunted house attraction, the legendary haunted house attraction right there on his t-shirt, The Darkness, and he will be chauffeuring us around today. We become good friends. And you love John Carpenter.
I love John Carpenter. My favorite John Carpenter movie would be The Thing. I think most people would agree that probably Halloween is what is associated with them the most.
The ultimate Carpenter classic.
Escape from New York is a classic, cult classic.
They live. So many good Carpenters. Also, The Fog, Deborah Hill, and John Carpenter again collaborated on this film. Nick Castle, Michael Myers himself, helped write the script for Escape from New York. Also Donald Pleasance, who played Loomis.
Don't forget that Kurt Russell was in 4 John Carpenter written and produced movies.
The Thing.
Escape from New York 1 and 2, which was LA.
Escape from LA.
And then of course Little Trouble in Little China. And Adrienne Barbeau, little trivia, was technically in 3 because she was in, John Carpenter produced The Thing video game and he put her in it.
Oh.
And then of course she was in The Fog, which she was the main character in The Fog. And then of course she was pretty much like the love interest sort of.
Yeah, throughout this film.
Of Snake Plissken.
Escape from New York. And also there were so many people in this movie. Isaac Hayes played the Duke.
Let's not forget Lee Van Cleef, who is famous for Clint Eastwood movies. He was perfectly cast in this movie. Yeah. And Dean Stanton.
Dean Stanton from Red Dawn. Avenge me!
Alien. Don't forget Alien.
Alien, yeah.
Remember he was under the thing and letting the water drip in his mouth right before he got killed by the alien?
That's good. So there's so many people. And we mentioned Donald Pleasance, right? Yeah, Loomis was in this. Ernest Borgnine played the taxi cab driver. It's just loaded, guys, and a lot of people did not know, including myself, until very recently that Escape from New York was not filmed in New York. It was actually just one scene. We're forgetting Tom Atkins from Halloween 3 was in this movie. He was in the only scene that was actually filmed in New York, and that was of the Statue of Liberty, right up close. Everything you see of New York, besides B-roll, is a map painting. So when you see New York and Escape from New York, it is most likely St. Louis, and that's what we're doing out here today. A big fan of this film since I was a kid. I've got the t-shirt, I've got the movie in my hand, and I've got the right friend. As you can see, he's very knowledgeable of St. Louis, so there's much ahead. Are you ready for the filming locations?
I can't wait to go see them.
We may have already seen a few. Just kidding.
Well, you know what's funny is you drive by them all day.
We drive by them all day.
When you live here and you don't even know. And when you watch Tampa Jay's channel, you're gonna know when you drive past something, that's where they shot Escape from New York.
There we go. Right here, right now. Larry and Jay. Can I call you Scary Larry?
Scary Larry's fine.
It works. Much ahead. And for the first several filming locations, we come north of downtown St. Louis. This is Locust Street. A majority of what you see in the movie as New York City that was filmed outside in the streets were filmed in this general region right here along Locust in between 17th and 22nd Street. So we're gonna cover a lot of ground. I'm gonna give you the then and now filming locations to Escape from New York. And the very first one actually behind this building right here, which is a brewery. And we begin between Locust and Olive on 21st Street. This building right here is the very first spot, actually this alleyway is the very first spot you see of St. Louis, fictional New York City, as Snake Plissken, Kurt Russell, is walking down this alleyway and he takes a corner, walks along this building and up and to the lot where the president's airplane crashed, Air Force One into New York. That lot right up there. We'll get there eventually, but first, let me break all of that down for you, then and now. This right here is the opening shot as you first see St. Louis and Escape from New York. Snake Plissken walks past the corner here, and in the screenshot, you can make out this rectangular thing right here on the brick. There's one below each window. But as he's like loading his machine gun there, or holding it, you can see it. I paused it just right. I'll put it in the lower right hand corner. Also, I'll blow it up for you. But he passes right here, and that's your identifier right there. That little rectangle you can make out in the screenshot as Kurt Russell takes the corner and he goes up along the building. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And Larry's gonna help me recreate the shot. I'll use my phone as the gun. They thought I was dead. And as a huge fan of Kurt Russell, I want to point out that Kurt Russell once stated, as portraying Snake Plissken, he was channeling Clint Eastwood this whole entire film. And he would go on to say he would channel John Wayne for his performance in Big Trouble Little China, another John Carpenter film. And showing you the screenshots, I paused it just right as he's walking up the sidewalk, this building, this brick piece right here. Very identifiable. He's walking past this door, which was more like a window that was boxed in or boarded back then. Right here, screenshot down in the lower right hand corner. Check this out right there in the screen. Just to confirm, he walks right past this building and then up that way. There you go. This is actually a good shot. You can see the whole doorway right there as he kind of runs out into the street. He enters the street about right here. Pause it just right down the lower right hand corner. So there's that column right there. Yeah, he enters the street right here. And you see these windows as he's walking that way, that building, and then right over there, I'll show you in just a second, is where Air Force One crashed. And the shot's a little tighter, but I just want to show you, this is a good establishing shot. That building out there has not changed. This building on the corner, and this corner right here, here's the screenshot. Hold on, let me angle out a little bit more. Everything, the buildings, all there. And you can see the tail of Air Force One, which they actually, this lot has been vacant forever, at least 40 years, because that is where they had the giant Air Force One plane crashed. Very cool spot. And then Snake walks across the street right there, and then he kind of walks along where the sidewalk is today, and he stops, and that might be the same pole. I think it might be. We'll get there in a second. He stops like right there. There you go. Very then and now shot. I had to get low right here in the center of 21st. The fire hydrant that's beside Kurt Russell, oh my gosh, that is the same fire hydrant. It's still painted yellow today. Right over here.
Are you saying the fire hydrant's the same?
It's the same fire hydrant right here. This is it right here. I always love finding the fire hydrants.
Where do you see the fire hydrant? Let me see.
So beside him, I've blown it up. I kind of zoomed in.
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
It's the same one.
You're right.
So yeah, he walks like where you're standing, and he comes across here and drapes across where the plane is, and he stops right up here by this pole. So keep in mind the buildings in the background on the street over there. You can see those in the screenshot behind the wreckage of the plane and the curb in front of Kurt Russell. He's walking right down along the curb here. You can spot out that building specifically behind him. And there you go. The pole to the left, the crashed plane behind him. These windows can be made out right behind him as well. That's the spot. So he checks the tracker, he radios back to base, and he looks at his watch for the first time in New York, St. Louis, right here in this spot. It's pretty awesome. He's like this, checking his watch like that. Just want to show you first, to put things into perspective, behind me, over there, you can make out the train station, Union Station, which is another filming location we will go today. That served as Grand Central Station at the end of the film. So just want to put things in perspective. All of these locations that you see are right around each other, with the acceptance of the bridge, the final end scene, and also the theater, Fox Theater, which served as Manhattan Theater. It's a little north of here. And later in the film, in almost the same spot, that's where the plane was crashed, right here on Locust, this stretch of buildings can be seen as they are coming down in the station wagon, which looked a lot like the family truckster, by the way. And there was a roadblock, and all of those people of New York, all the prisoners, had a roadblock full of cars, and that was stacked right here I'll put a screenshot to show you what I'm talking about before I break it down. But yeah, they came down, they were heading to the train station, which they were going the right way. They were coming down Locust, and all of those people were jumping on their car, and they were shooting out the window. This was where it happened, right here. And right here, this shot, I paused it just right. You see how the cars are stacked up? That's where the car blasts through the wall of cars. And behind, you can make out the building in the stained glass. Now keep in mind, the building to the left is long gone, but right here is where they stacked up all the cars in the street. What a heck of a movie set right here. They actually stacked up cars right here in the streets of St. Louis to film that scene. And from this angle, I'm putting another shot into frame so you can see the brickwork as the station wagon is driving off to the right. You can see that all this still matches up right there behind the car, then and now. I've got the screenshots on my phone. That's how I'm gauging this. I'll put it into screen, but also there's another angle of the wall being right here, because these two doorways that are boxed in today, they were boxed in then, it's just a little different. You can see those clearly as the, I'm just gonna call it the family truckster. Family truckster was here plowing through the wall of cars right here in Locust. So they may have moved the wall up and down, but in this shot right here, there's more evidence that it was right here, just to show you. And after this shot right here of them going down the road on Locust, aka Broadway, it cuts to the train station. We will get there eventually. We're not going there right now, but I just wanted to show you for continuity, or tell you that after you see them going through the street here, the next scene would be the train station scene. And for the next location, we got to come up a block, 22nd and Locust, the alleyway. I just want to show you first, show you the filming location before we get there. The alleyway we're going to shoot is right here between these two buildings. I am now standing on Washington, pointing down the alleyway that Snake Plissken runs down to. This is after he leaves the theater. He runs down this alleyway, and cabbie Ernest Borgnine, oh, scared a rabbit there. Whoa! Ernest Borgnine picks him up on the other side of this alleyway down there. I'll match some stuff up to you, but I want to just show you this. This is the filming location. Kurt Russell runs down this right here. I wish we could get in there, but it's all chained up. But we'll go to the other side to match up the next screenshots. Okay, this is Washington right here, the alleyway right behind me. You can make out this garage door, the brick, and this is all boxed in today. I think it was boxed in then, but differently. But you can make that out in this screenshot as Snake is taking the corner here into the alleyway. Oh, wow. Okay, so check this out. Okay, on the corner of the building, you see some steel there. It kind of makes like a little T. You see that steel on the edge of the building? Check this out. That is right there. Right there. That is cool. Here we go. I'll show you the screenshot there. This is the corner. There it is, different angle. But this is where he turns and runs down the alleyway, and he's being chased. And then again, there's that building right behind him. Okay, there's a quick shot. You can make out the wall to the right there, and some of the same indentations are still there. That's a quick shot you see looking this way in the movie. And at the end, you can barely see where Ernest Borgnine's about to pull up in the cab, in the building on the other side behind him in that scene, long gone. It's been torn down. It's just a vacant lot. And now we've come over on Locust. This is the front side of the alleyway. The cab, taxi cab, pulled up right here. Ernest Borgnine stopped right here. Saved Snake Plissken. Opposite angle, you don't see this in the movie, but I just wanted to set this up first. This is where he parked. Now the building across the street you see in the screenshot, long gone. But this is where it sat. Taxi cab here. In the screenshot to the very left corner, you can make out the corner here from the alleyway. And this sign, look at this. This is screen used. This was an old hospital, and you can definitely make out the letters in the lower hand corner, or the lower, yeah, upper left there. You can make out this edge and this sign right there. Oh wow. And a pretty cool shot of Ernest Borgnine there, legendary actor. Oh wow, okay. So you see the lamppost to the right of his head there? Right there. That's the only thing you can match up then and now from this angle. as he was parked right here in the street. Good old Ernie. There you go, one more time. Building behind him, long gone. That pole though, still right here. Cool. And one of the coolest shots right here. Snake Plissken with the machine gun and the eye patch. Actually, there you go, tightening it up a little bit. You can make out the wall of the alleyway and the brick behind him. Dude, that's sick right here. I thought you were dead. I was. And now at the corner of 17th Street and St. Charles Street, this intersection right here leads to an open lot. And I'm kind of recreating it right now, but right over there, where that parking lot is, that is where the helicopters of the United States Police Force lands to come rescue the president, played by Donald Pleasance. That's where they land. And you can see all of this in Escape from New York, and I'm gonna recreate it. Actually, the corner of the building can be made out. I'm gonna get a little closer just to show you. All these buildings can be seen. This is a very large movie set. And then once they land, the police officers run down the street right here and they go to where the pod, the egg pod, to where the president originally landed in New York. It's actually down there to the left. All right, I've set it all up and now I'm gonna break it down. And later, Snake Plissken does the same thing. So we'll show you all the screenshots from both scenes filmed right here from Escape from New York. We begin now. This is the widest angle you see of this whole entire set. You can kind of make out the helicopters out there before the building. And here we are today. Notice that this brickwork right here, this trim, this gray piece, also this gray piece here, this kind of a L-shaped, that is still there today. So I came over into the lot to pinpoint where the two helicopters landed. You can make out these buildings right behind them. Here, I'll tighten the shot. Actually, you see this doorway over here? This doorway can be seen behind the helicopters as they're landing. Okay, so there's the shot. Two helicopters, one labeled 8 and one labeled 3. I just put this together. Dale Earnhardt and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Now we know why they chose the numbers for their NASCARs. Oh my gosh, just put that together. But you can definitely make out the doorway and the brickwork, all of this behind them as they land right here. I'm recreating the shot right there. So the police squad runs down right here, and there's several shots of them and Lee Van Cleef. Lee Van Cleef actually kind of stops and looks back this way a little bit. But in this shot that I'm about to show you, look to the right, there's a platform, and these garage doors, all of that can be seen. Also the wall over here. There you go, I'll pause it. There you go for you. Down in the lower right hand corner, you can make out the platform out beyond the SWAT team as they're running this way, and some of the buildings to the left and to the right. The egg pod, the president egg pod, the egg pod lands right over here. So as I'm walking this way, I just want to point out that the building that was here during the time of the film was right here and it was torn down. So that's going to mess things up just a little bit, but it's right here in this corner is where they built the facade, like a broken building facade, and they put the egg pod. And this building over here to the right, down on the block, that's where you see Romero, which is the dude that brings the president's finger and tells them to basically run back to the chopper and leave or they'll kill the president. He actually comes from the corner right there, and that's where they stop. And him and Lee Van Cleef have that little talking right there. They talk to each other right there. Okay, so right here is the edge of the building. That spot right there is right here. This is the edge. Kind of where that pipe is sitting is where the egg was sitting. And also later in the movie, Snake Plissken would come to check the presidential pod as well. And right here where the egg was sitting, some kind of establishment. It looks like a cafe to this building. It's pretty cool. But this, I wonder how many people know that Kurt Russell sat right there. And also Donald Pleasance was once right here too. And Lee Van Cleef. So to show you what's going on here, we got it zoomed in here on the corner. Now if you look out, there's a police officer going towards the adjacent corner building. Romero's coming out of that building. Okay, let me show you that building first. You see the guy on the porch there? He's coming out right there. And so if we step back, there is that corner. You can actually make out this pipe as well. We're really gonna break this one down because things have changed so much, but right here is that corner. And you can see the tarp from the escape pod right there. That's the parachute. And it was draped right there on that corner. That's sick. I'll put it in the lower right-hand corner. There you go, matching it up. Police officer running that way. Romero. That actually looks like a zombie. I always thought it might be a coincidence, but maybe John Carpenter's nod to George A. Romero because he was like a zombie type. But yeah, this is where that begins. The escape pod right there below this pipe. So this is the angle you don't see in the movie. Now on 18th, this is where Kurt Russell comes to the egg pod over here. This is where they talk to Romero. Romero actually walks out of the former door right under this awning here. You can see him way off in the distance, and he comes out. There used to be a door right here. This is where he walked out of, just so you can see it. And back to where the escape pod sat. This time Snake comes to check for the president, and he kind of stops right in front of the egg, and he's kind of looking out, and you can make out the building, the windows way out there of the building that's still there. The one to the right that you see, the fire escape, that one long gone. Snake climbs down from the escape pod, and there's a chair right here on the curb, and he sits in it. And he kind of has like a thinking moment right there. He's sitting there with the, either that's an Uzi or a Tech 9 that he has in that movie. I know someone will know, but you can definitely make out the building in the corner behind him. But he was sitting in a chair. Kurt Russell was sitting in a chair right here. And then as Snake is walking away in this shot, and notice right behind him on the corner, you can make out the parachute that was draped from the escape pod. It was hanging right here on the corner. This building that looks to be condemned soon, you can make out right behind him as he's walking, and also the corner and the piping. Snake Plissken, Kurt Russell walking here. That door has not changed right there. This is all the corner of the building. Again, the escape pod right here as he's walking down the street. And then immediately after that scene, Snake takes the corner, and it appears that he goes around this corner over here. Now this building is long gone. I don't know if that filming location was that accurate as far as you know, location, but if that Chalk of Nuts restaurant that he ran into to hide out, if it did exist and it was in St. Louis, I think it was on the far corner of this building over here. I just want to throw that in here. I'm not so sure on that, but there is a speculation that that was filmed right there on that corner. So this is the escape pod. Snake runs down around the corner and into the diner. That's where some people say that was located. Also, I want to point out that the light poles, the lamp posts you see in the movie are just like this one, and they're still here. They do kind of like that curve throughout the film. When you see a lamp pole, it's one of these. And the door was wide open, so we just kind of popped into this brick building.
It's creepy. And it also has a basement.
Imagine escaping from New York in here. Oh my gosh.
There's a basement down
there.
there.
Watch your step. Holy crap. Oh yeah, yeah. Door was open. Door was wide open. And for the next filming location, we come to the historic Fox Theater where Snake Plissken entered. And this is where he meets Ernest Borgnine. A little brief history of the Fox Theater. It was closed down during the time of the movie. It actually closed down in 1978 and sat abandoned. And in 1982, it was restored. So when you see it in the movie, you only see the exterior. They filmed the interior portion in a movie theater in LA. I think it's the Wilton Theater in Los Angeles. That's where you see the interior shot. And the scene begins here at the Fox Theater, right here before it. Snake Plissken walks along this building. I'll show you the screenshots in a second. And he walks across the street right up there to the ticket booth. And this brick was painted a different color in the movie. This is now like oh, it looks like a Tex-Mex restaurant. But you can make out the black and white brick. In this shot, as you can see, the building ends right there before the road, the street, and the marquee of the Fox Theater out beyond the background. Now, in the movie, this was the Manhattan Theater, and the marquee read, Old Manhattan Theater Musical Review featuring the Velvets. And here you go, trying to recreate the shot of the marquee as you see Snake crossing to the Fox Theater. Below the marquee to the left of the ticket booth in this screenshot, it actually says Fox Theater. That mural there in the movie is where the doors are today, but it was to the left of the ticket booth. They actually left that up. And here's the ticket booth. You see Snake walk up. Wow, looks the same. This is cool. Got the screenshot in the lower right hand corner. Similar angle here as Snake's walking up to the booth. There's a trash can and a shopping cart kind of right there in the movie. Yeah, so this theater was restored in 1982, a year after Escape from New York came out. So it's a little different and it looks a whole lot better today. But it sat abandoned for, I believe, 4 or 5 years. It's the first door on the left that he opens. Now, I don't know if it looks like it may have been changed out or just restored. But yeah, you can see in the screenshot there, it was very dirty at the time. But Kurt Russell went through the first door.
This marble is?
Oh yeah, it's real marble.
This is the real marble from 1929.
Yeah, this theater was built in 1929. So this was originally a silent movie theater, a lot like the Tampa theater back in Tampa. But in the movie, it was a Broadway play. And look, kind of funny, they actually show Broadway plays here at the Fox. We got Beetlejuice, Tina, Mrs. Doubtfire, Moulin Rouge. It's pretty neat that they actually show Broadway plays now. And just to show you, they didn't film inside of the Fox Theater for the movie. That's totally different than what you see in here. Check this out. Pretty awesome though. There's another set of doors right inside. And just to show you the angle you don't see the movie, that's where the scene began right there. Kurt Russell walking up the sidewalk. We were just noticing that. A very Art Deco city. A lot of limestone, 1920s, roaring 20s money here. And now we are a couple blocks up and over from the Fox Theater. This is the St. Louis University, the building right over here. Actually, this one right here is seen as the New York Public Library in Escape from New York. This is a Masonic temple that they use as the New York Public Library. This is not the angle of the film. I'm gonna walk over there just to show you what's going on here. And a beautiful piece of architecture, 3681 Lindell Boulevard, right here at the University of St. Louis. These steps, very identifiable to you Escape from New York fans. Just wanted to come across the street to show you the building, the filming location. This is pretty nuts. Kurt Russell, Snake Plissken, Ernest Borgnine, Cabby parked the car out here. Not realistically, it was fictionally, and then they film out here and show them crossing and walking up those steps into what we thought was the New York Public Library, Brain's lair. And right here, matching it up across the street, you can see how the curves kind of at an angle in the film, and they're walking straight. There's a pedestal with a Freemason symbol right there on the steps before the pillars. That's where they're walking. Larry's over there right now. And here we go. They walk right here towards the center, up the steps here, and they go right past this little pedestal, which when they leave, you see this again. I'll break that down for you in just a second, but I just want to show you. And right here in this spot precisely, the second door from the right, this door right here, is where Ernest Borgnine comes up to and Snake kind of posts up right there in that column. I've got the screenshot matching it up for you. Check out the pattern. Oh, right here, here you go. You can make this out in the movie too, in the screenshot I'm about to show you. Ernest Borgnine right here, banging on the door. Snake Plissken, Kurt Russell there. And in the background, there was a light pole that was right here. There's the pedestal for the pole. It's long gone. And just to show you, it looks like this on the other side as well. There's 1, 2, 3 doors. They come to the center door right here. This is where they enter Brain's lair, and that's when they meet Brain and Adrienne Barbeau right inside there. Now they didn't film that in here as well. That was also on a set. And it's right here where Kurt Russell is standing, where he looks at his watch, and he has 17 hours and 40 minutes and 45 seconds to go left to find the president right here in this spot. That's freaking sick. And here's the angle you don't see in the movie. This is where the Duke would eventually pulled up and his crew in the cars, and they were kind of staked out in the alleyway and they were watching. As you can see, that is not there. They filmed that elsewhere. Kurt Russell right here, Snake Plissken. Amazing. Ernest Borgnine about to open the door. He looks at his watch, 17 minutes and 40 seconds, or 17 hours and 40 minutes to go. This is pretty insane. And you were telling me, Larry, that Ernest Borgnine was actually a Mason himself.
And while they were filming it here, he attended meetings because it was open at the time.
And when he walks away and goes back down that way to the next scene, when they leave, he places his hand on the pedestal, which has a Mason symbol, which kind of leads me to believe he was like, hey, I'm one of these.
Yeah, and
I wouldn't know that unless you look that up. That's really cool.
And some other history too is that Harry S. Truman, president, had an office here.
Wow.
And Charles Lindbergh became a Mason in this very building.
Spirit of St. Louis.
And they were together. Truman and Lindbergh would have been in this building at the same time.
And they're making this into apartments.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
At least it's being saved.
It's a heavy door. Holy cow. What knockers. And then the next scene shot out here after the meeting concludes inside. Brain, Harry Dean Stanton, Adrienne Barbeau, Ernest Borgnine, and Kurt Russell all walk down these steps again and past the pedestal. Ernest Borgnine places his hand right here, screenshot in the lower right here as he's walking down, and we put it together that there's a Freemason symbol there, or a Masonic symbol, and Ernest Borgnine, as we said, was a Mason, so maybe he did that intentionally. I don't know, just a little extra thing to add there. And saw this on the side of the building just to show you. Architects Thomas Crane Young and Albert B. Groves. Shout out to the artist. And for the next filming location, we come across the Mississippi River into Illinois. You can see the bridge right there. I think you may know where we're going. And now, welcome to old Route 66. This bridge here was the bridge they used for the final scene as Snake and the rest of the crew are being chased by the Duke over and out of New York. Old Chain of Rocks Bridge, city of Missouri, or city of Madison, Illinois. This is the Madison side. This is the bridge. I have several screenshots to match up to show you, especially the entrance. They use the Illinois side when you first see the cars go into, and they cross the Mississippi River, which this is the river that it crosses. So there's a quick screen grab. I had to pause it just right. This is when the Duke is entering his car following Snake and the rest of the crew. Hasn't changed much. Look at that. I'm recreating this shot. That telephone pole over to the left is in the same spot, and you can't really tell because there's a car in frame, but that house, that brick house, was there when they were filming the movie back in 1980. There you go, in the lower right hand corner, Isaac Hayes in the car there, the Duke entering the bridge. And just to let the camera roll as we're entering the bridge, leaving New York. So technically I think we're heading into New Jersey as far as the movie, towards the wall. I think it was wall, or checkpoint 19. Yeah, written on the wall, checkpoint 19. And as you see in the movie, the original color of the bridge was green, and you can make out that green right here where the sun hasn't hit it. It's mostly just rusted out. Dude, this is the bridge. So we're thinking that they didn't go too far out on the bridge. We're thinking they filmed more towards this way.
This plate right here has been welded on over the grate.
So yeah, in the lower right hand corner, I'm putting a screenshot. We're trying to find where the taxi stopped on the bridge, and we're thinking this grate, as you see before the taxi in the screenshot, has been covered up.
The grate's right here, and they welded this over.
Oh, they welded that over? Okay,
and
so
probably because it rusted, and people walk this bridge to go across the Mississippi, so they probably welded these plates over the grate.
Okay, so we think that means the taxi would have stopped right here. Okay, see the manhole right here, this cover? We're thinking they filmed this in the reverse angle. They would have turned the car around and stopped the taxi right here. Because of this manhole cover, we believe in the screenshot, it was taken up for some reason and just kind of positioned right there. You can see it in the screenshot along the railway. And if I come back, I'll put it into frame to make it make sense. We're thinking the taxi stopped about right there. So they basically turned the cars around, movie magic, and filmed it right here. And this is the storm grate. So this is where everything had happened. This is where basically Adrienne Barbeau got ran over by the car. This is where Brain died where he died. The guy from Red Dawn, Avenge Me. I can't think of the name of the actor. That was the same guy. And also, everyone died on this bridge except for Kurt Russell and the president, Donald Pleasance. But this is where they filmed those spots. And just to show you the railings behind the cab here in the screenshot, just to show you then and now, the railings here today. Same ones, covered up by this blue one. You can make out some of the bolts like that pattern right there, those bolts in the screenshots. Yeah, very creepy bridge. Imagine walking out here at night. And just to show you what's going on below us, we're not even halfway to the Mississippi River Point. We're just walking above the trees. It's basically just like a giant canopy walkway. Larry did some research. Which bridge did this post for?
The 69th bridge
in New York City, okay.
So it's doubling up for that bridge. And it was built and it was closed in 1970.
So it was sitting vacant for 10 years before they used it for filming. Built in 1929, right?
1929 and closed in 1970.
I'm thinking they may have filmed on both sides just because there's a building, and you can see it a couple times during the beginning of the scene. There's a building directly to the right before the bridge. Now that building is not here on this side, the Illinois side, but that shot I showed you before with the little light pole and the little building and the car to the left, that is still here. So on the other side, as we were coming over the bridge, there was construction going on. That area over there has been wiped out. So there's a possibility they may have used both sides, but they definitely filmed on the Illinois side. Harry Dean Stanton, Adrienne Barbeau, and Donald Pleasance. You could make out parts of the bridge behind their heads in the screenshot. So yes, the Illinois side is where they filmed a majority of the scenes, right here in these spots that I just showed you from Escape from New York, filming in August to November 1980, right out here on this bridge. And it was the only movie filmed on this bridge, and also there was a murder out here.
And somebody was killed building this bridge. And by the way, I got some information for you. The building that is no longer there, that was a water filtration building. And this they started construction of this bridge like in 1965, but they built a water filtration building.
So that's that
what
building.
It was, and it's been since torn down. And this was a toll bridge.
Okay, old toll bridge.
And so they would have collected tolls on either side. That's why they would have had buildings. But at the time, it was the world's largest water filtration building, and it was on the in the movie, and it was down there. When this bridge was closed in 1970, they debated what to do with it. The film filmed, and then after the film, they tore these things down.
All right, warning, trigger warning, very bloody shot here. Adrienne Barbeau gets ran over. She's firing at the car with a machine gun because Brain just died, so she's going out with a bang, as they say. She gets ran over. Notice the coloration of the rock down by her lower left hand. Look at this. This is the only spot in this area that would make sense. Right down here, you can kind of make out a little circle there. I think this is where that happened, just because of the coloration of the rock. I think that's where Adrienne got plastered. Right there.
You know what would be really cool? Get Adrienne back, and let's make vlog 2 on this bridge.
And not 100% sure, but we think they built the wall right here at the end. This is where it all comes to an end. They climb up the wall at the end. Donald Pleasance, the president, shoots Isaac Hayes. It would be checkpoint 19. And if you look at the bridge and the screenshot and the fence, that all matches up. Obviously there's not a wall there, but there's plenty of space out there where they could have built the wall. And we're thinking they did. We think they built the entire wall of New York City right out here, and this is where they shot that scene. Snake and the Duke.
This would have been a toll right here.
Little history right here. That's the old toll booth.
You can kind of see the one side and the other side. Okay. Obviously that's gone.
I think that's the Missouri side. Yeah.
Yeah, and that would have been the toll. Okay. And the water treatment plant is on the side where we're at.
On the other side.
Yes.
Gateway to the west.
And then there you go, right there. There's another picture on the St. Louis side where the toll is. But the water treatment,
you can see the water treatment plant right there.
There it is, and that's the one that would have been in the movie.
Okay, so that was further out. Escape from New York, the final scene filmed in St. Louis, and technically Illinois, right here at the end of the bridge. And we're making a pit stop here in downtown St. Louis. Sugar Fire barbecue. I always like trying the barbecue. I'm gonna get the sampler, and that's what I call barbecue. And for the next filming location, we come to the historic Union Station of St. Louis. This is the front side. We gotta go all the way to the back. This is where this is what they made into Grand Central Station for Escape to New York. On the corner of Market and 18th. Eventually we will go inside Union Station right here, but down the way here, down 18th on the back side, this is the filming location of the first time you see the train station in Escape from New York. They come and enter the train station in the station wagon right down here on 18th. And right down the street from where the St. Louis Blues play, check that out, go Bolts, Union Station right here on 18th. Also the home of the St. Louis Aquarium. This old train station was abandoned during the time of the film, and they utilized it for Grand Central Station. So we're gonna work our way around and down under where the trains used to come into Old St. Louis right here. It's become sort of a tourist attraction. Oh my gosh, what's going on right here? And I literally had to stop for about 15 minutes. I'd say about 30,000 bicyclists, and I was stuck on the corner of the street as I was heading to the next filming location, just to point that out. And I had to split up for Larry. He dropped his camera. I know, ouch, it hurt me when he dropped it. It broke, so he ran home real quick, and he's gonna meet up with us later. He has a spare camera at home, so sorry, Larry. I'm glad you had an extra one at home though. And here we are, St. Louis Union Station. Now this is the setup I was looking for. In Escape from New York, you see them along the train cars. Those train cars were parked right out here. They come into this area with the station wagon, and they drive right beneath this giant overhang, which is now infused with a ton of attractions. And of course you can see the Ferris wheel up there as well. But this is where they filmed the movie. And there's one shot with the train there, and that's the area where it all went down. Notice the awning above, and to the back there's like a brick wall. I believe that's the back side of Union Station. Now you can just make out the tower, which we saw over there on the 18th when we first got here. You can just make out that tower there, but this has all been added. But I believe that scene was kind of up and towards the middle right here. And the president was being held in an old train car that sat out here underneath the awning inside here. I don't know if this is the same one. There are several train cars in here, but I'm definitely going to take a look to let you know. This is called the Silver Chalet or Silver Chalet, and they actually do like a holiday Polar Express inside of this each year. I was reading the sign over there. I'm not saying it is, but this very well could be one of the very train cars as seen out here at Union Station in Escape to New York. There's several stacked here on the far west side. Check this out. This kind of sets the vibe of the movie. The train car underneath the awning. The scene when the Duke finally meets up with everyone. Snake Plissken is then captured and taken into Union Station for the wrestling match. It all came to a head right out here underneath Union Station train yard. I didn't realize St. Louis had a Ferris wheel. I think about every major city in the United States has one. Orlando has one. I've ridden the one in Vegas. Also, the one in Chicago. Very cool, it's right here. Okay, this is absolutely awesome and beautiful in here. Look at this. This is a way to recycle an old train station. They've got a Landry seafood house, several eateries and attractions in here. The Ferris wheel is right there on the west side. And now walking up to the front side of Union Station, inside here is where they filmed the wrestling scene. That's where it went down, inside this building. All right, so I've now come inside the old Union Station. This is a hotel now. This is the back side of the main portion. Just to show you what I was just talking about. You see that round oval window with the sun beaming through? That is the west right there. this is the long hallway, stretch of hallway. Brain and Adrienne Barbeau walks down and through that archway to the former part of the train station where the Duke and his goons has Donald Pleasance held captive. That wall would have been out to the left. And there was like a temporary building built outside in place right here between these steps to the right and all the way along the wall. And you can see that as they're walking down to where everyone is standing out beyond the arch. So that arch would have been open. And then I came all the way down to the arch, and this is a look back at where I was standing. Right here on the west side of Union Station, the back side. Everything we just saw, the train yard, the aquarium, everything is out that way. This building has been built since the time of the movie. This was just sitting abandoned. Everything you see here was just sitting here back in 1980 when they were filming. Okay, I come up in the lobby to show you the filming locations, and they dim the lights. I think there's some kind of a show. Welcome to the filming location, by the way. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Okay, so this is where they had the wrestling match. Just happened to come up here as they're doing a show. Little Queen action, Freddie Mercury. Wow, this is awesome. And that was a 5-minute presentation. It was amazing. I wish I could have filmed the whole thing. Took lots of video on my phone. I took pictures. Okay, back to the filming locations to escape from New York.
See, it's this room right here.
Okay, Larry met up with us back here. We're trying to find this room right here. When Donald Pleasance, the president, has the wig on his head, he's saying that this was filmed also here at Union Station. Okay, so present day Station Grill. This is where they were holding the president hostage in the movie when they put the wig on him. Right in here. Okay, Larry found the room in the back of the restaurant. This is it. Oh my gosh. So it was right over there. This is the room where they were holding the president hostage.
Yeah, because if you line up the shots, Jay, you'll see these exact pillars. They're exactly the same. The ceiling's the same. That you know, whatever that is the same.
Okay, so right here is where Donald Pleasance was sitting in the chair where he had the blonde wig. And then Adrienne Barbeau walks through that door right there. Okay, yeah, big scene right here. And out in Union Station, out there in the lobby, that's when at the same time they're having the wrestling match, which we'll show you that when we'll get there. All right, so they're walking into the room right here through the door. This is the doorway. I'm showing you real time. Check this out.
And there's Dean Stanton.
Dean Stanton, Adrienne Barbeau.
And you can see right behind him that, you know, that
mosaic, that archway. Yeah, this is all happening in the doorway right here. Yeah, so cool. All right, notice the column right there in the corner of the building in the screenshot. Dean Stanton, Donald Pleasance, that column right here. So they walked through the door and came to the president right here in the corner. That's where he was sitting, with the American flag draped over the back of the chair with a blonde wig on. This is the room. Wow, good find, Larry. So check it out, right here, paused, Adrienne Barbeau. The wallpaper was like a red and white stripe, but all the like the crown molding, she's standing in front of this door right here, is the same. She was standing right here. The beams, the poles.
Jay, the one character, Romero, he opens the door,
just like that,
his head out and talks to him.
Yeah, right there.
They're on the one side and he's on this side. Like, you can't come in here. Who are you?
And she pulls out the gun right here and caps all the bad guys. Right there. Oh, sick. Yeah, you can still make out the molding and everything right behind her. A good then and now shot. Actually, right here. So those guys that she shot, they were like right here. You see he's got his hand there and the molding behind him? Like that was right there. They were all sitting there.
And they would have been
along the wall.
Would have been standing between here.
Yeah, over there. And right here in the corner, this is where he stabs Romero. Right there. You can make out the column right here behind him as Romero. Romero gets stabbed right there. Check out his face too. He's like, ah. Also, there was like a pinball machine in here somewhere. But yeah, this is right where he gets stabbed. Okay, so I'm sitting right where Donald Pleasant's Dr. Loomis from Halloween sat. But obviously he was the president. Right here, he's wearing the blonde wig. The American flag was draped over the chair behind him. The angle would have been this way, but he was definitely sitting right here. I like to when I go on filming locations, I think about the actors and everything they've done, and when they sit in one place and you can confirm you're sitting or standing where they were, that just blows my mind. So Donald Pleasant's right here.
I mean, exactly right there.
Exactly right here.
I mean, you're within an inch or two.
Yeah, give or take. I need a blonde wig. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you need a blonde wig.
Okay, so after they rescue the president, they walk out into the present day restaurant. The camera would have been from the opposite angle. There's still some stuff we can match up though. And kind of where Larry's walking, there was the room back there. You can make out some of these old pillars behind Donald Pleasant's, Harry Dean Stanton, and Adrienne Barbeau as they're walking. It's a very dark shot, but see the wooden pillars behind Donald Pleasant's head? Those wood pillars are still right here. They walked right beyond and through the restaurant. All right, so they're redoing the projection show we saw earlier. Right here's a screenshot. This is the long hallway Snake is led down before he enters the wrestling match. And check this out. Right there. Dude, that has not changed.
Who walked down this hallway?
Snake Plissken. This is where they walk him down the hallway. All right, check this out. Much has changed here, but this is almost the exact spot from this screenshot. Walking from that room right there. Snake Plissken down to the wrestling match. A little bit of then and now action for you. Notice the windows to the right, the doorway. And then the next shot, the camera turns around and you see this doorway before they enter the hall there, Union Station. Actually, go back like this. I'll put a screenshot in the lower right. The windows, the archway over here, much has changed. Yeah, that is sick. Much has changed, but much is not. All right, so right here, I'm standing where the wrestling rink was. And what was the name of that, guys? Ox Baker or Barker.
Yes, that's it, Ox Baker.
Ox Baker was the wrestler that went up against Snake Plissken. And the wrestling rink was right here in the center of old St. Louis Union Station, which now is a hotel lobby. And that's where we've been standing. So from this screenshot here, the stained glass there, which is above the staircase to get up here, that's your biggest identifier. Snake Plissken actually walked out of the door here, came up into the wrestling arena, and then up there is where the Duke was. The lights are kind of dim right now, but once they come on you can see it a little better, but the wrestling rink was right here where these tables were.
Yeah, and Jay,
this is where the final showdown
is. We also identified that door right there is what leads to where the president was.
Yeah, so that's where we just were, right over there. That's where the president was, and this is amazing how beautiful it is in here. Okay, so check this out. Everything in here is still the same. The wrestling rink would have been right in front of me, but if you look up in the corner, all that still matches up. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll put a screenshot in the lower right hand corner. The wrestling rink was sitting right in front of the stained glass. Isaac Hayes, the Duke, and all of those guys were up there hanging off the ledge. So right here, his arms up right here, yeah, this is all the same. Check this out. Right there, then.
Yeah, look in the corner.
In the corner there.
And then see the dial, it's exactly the same. Right there.
Right there. Wow. The Duke and Isaac Hayes. Even the pattern below on the wall there, even the same, right?
You're talking about the ceiling. It's exactly the same.
It's exactly the same. They were standing right up there. Put a screenshot in the lower right hand corner. Wow. There you go, a little then and now action. It's a little dark in here. but you can still see it. The wrestling rink right here, Snake Plissken. Amazing. Love this movie. And this is where Snake enters the Grand Hall here. Walking out from that hallway, right here he takes the corner. And the tile, you can make out then and now, it was green. And that sign also, you can see that sign. That's sick. Are you ready to wrestle, Larry? Are you telling me John Wayne's been in here?
Yes, John Wayne and many other people. This was a really big train station in the center of the country. When you think of trains, you know,
a lot of people, like millions of people.
What's that?
Millions of people probably came through here.
Millions of people have come through here. Immigrants moving on to California. That's why it's called the Gateway to the West, because it was like a last stop.
Yeah.
When you think about what's on the other side of St. Louis, there wasn't a lot. And to this day, there still isn't.
The Great Plains.
The states that are there.
Yeah.
So a lot of people would come through here, change trains like you would change planes. And yeah. And then when trains became no longer popular, it went abandoned.
So we came up to the 4th floor. The Duke would have been on the 3rd floor, but we just wanted to come up here to show you first. This is where the wrestling match was. Right where that square is. That's almost like a perfect size for a wrestling match in the same spot. The wrestling rink. I keep saying match, but that's where the match was. Oh, this is beautiful in here. Yeah, so the Duke would have been, oh dude, right down there. Like right below us.
Right below us.
So we gotta go to level 3.
Well, it might be, the Duke was probably right here.
Oh, you think he was on 4?
Yeah, no, I think it was right here, 1 below.
Oh, 1 below?
This is the middle.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is the middle,
you can
yeah.
make out that it's the middle. See the bar?
Oh yeah, there's the stairs right there.
Yeah, you're right here. The Duke would have been 1 below us, right here. And the wrestling rink would have been right there.
Right there. The square is like right where it was.
And by the way, whenever they're filming the movie and they're shooting up at the Duke, you can see this level.
Oh yeah, you can see this.
Ceiling.
Oh good, check this out. I think I got a screenshot.
We're up here on the 4th floor.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that.
And when you watch the movie, you can see this balcony and the one below.
There it is.
Standing right in the middle.
Whoa.
This floor.
So I've been the reversed angle, but this was full of tons of extras. There was people hanging out right here in the opening, and you could see them chanting the wrestling match. There were so many extras up here. This is a beautiful, beautiful hotel or train station, as it used to be. Check this out. Wow. Look at that. Again, the wrestling rink right there. Duke hanging out there. Extras right there. There's a very wide shot. It would have been from over there, but I'll put it down here in the lower right hand corner so you can see all the extras that were popping out here, cheering on the wrestlers below, Snake Plissken and Oxbaker. Okay, so we came down the stairs to the 3rd level. The Duke and his henchmen would have been placed on the 3rd level. Over there is the Grand Hall. That is a staff-only door. You can't go down that hallway.
And by the way, Jay,
it's locked too. We checked.
That's staff only because that's where they have their, you know, $50,000 video mapping.
That's where all the projectors for the show are.
That's why you can't go in there.
Oh, okay. And just to show you, the camera would have been on the present-day bar side, so you don't see this side of Union Station in the movie. It was all pointing this way towards the rink and back up at the wall where the Duke and his henchmen were sitting right there from the 3rd level. And Larry was saying that the St. Louis Union Station was one of the largest train stations in all of America at one point. It makes sense. It really does. It is huge. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, the filming locations, the St. Louis filming locations to Escape from New York. Thanks for showing me around today, Larry.
Well, thanks for coming all the way from Tampa.
That's right, man. So you were filming today. Where are you putting your video at? Can you tell them where you're putting it at?
I have a page called Haunt World, but then we also have Scarefest, which is more focused on local St. Louis haunts, of course. And we've been trying to highlight all the scary happenings around St. Louis.
So is that on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. And
so,
we have Haunt World and we have Scarefest.
So Scarefest, youtube.com/Scarefest. in Hot World. I'll put a link in the description below.
Yep.
Wherever you put the video, just let me know. But yeah, so that was fun. It's been a long day. We started out up around noon. Now it's like 9, 10 o'clock, so we've been running around having fun. He showed me a lot of things around St. Louis today, that a lot of cool fun facts that we threw in the video, some we did not. So yeah, I want to thank you all for watching. If you like Escape from New York, if you're a fan of the film, I hope you enjoyed this video. Also, again, they filmed parts of the movie in Los Angeles. Actually, the beginning that you see the police station, that's a dam in LA. So the beginning of the, whoa, I think the AC of the train just came on.
Hey, and by the way, it's interesting noting that their Escape from New York reboot is being developed.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So they're gonna make a reboot.
It's on IMDb, it's in development.
You know the reboot is always better than the original.
I don't know about that.
Nope, never.
No, very rare.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Know you're awesome, know you're loved, and no matter who you are, what you're going through, there's always much ahead. I have to yell because that thing's loud, the train. Dude, like Donald Pleasance could have been on that train right there. You never know. Could have been. All right, much ahead. We parked over here somewhere. I gotta go make another video tonight. Haunts on. I'll release that one later though.